was interesting. All that information from Tony shows you about the cod history down in Dungeness, down in the southeast corner in Kent. Phil had some fantastic fishing up there as well. That's on the northwest, so I've been both ends of the country basically, but I still want to try and catch one, even a little weensy one for you, so you know what the codling are like and they're still about. I've had a call from my skipper down in Scooby-Doo 2, he runs out of Watch It, and he's given me a call. There's a one-shot deal right at the end of the season. We're really asking a lot. There's a gap in the weather. I'm going to drive down tomorrow and see if I can't get out on his boat. He's got a great boat, it's immaculate. Fingers crossed I can at least get the old camera out and show you what a little codling looks like. My port of call was none other than Watch It Marina, which is on the Somerset coastline. Really it would come under West Somerset, and it's a marina on the, I suppose you call it the south side of the Bristol Channel. It's obviously on the Somerset side, and the boat I'm going to be fishing for is Scooby-Doo 2, which is a full-size charter boat run by Steve Yendall. Now Steve has been a charter skipper for many years, and in fact I think it's ingrained in his family, working with boats, on boats, around boats. What he doesn't know about boats isn't worth knowing, and this boat is a cracker. In the summer, Watch It is well on the tourist trail. It's certainly established as a holiday venue. And the marina there also has something like this MTB. Now that's what I call a fishing boat. And I want to shoot that machine gun as well. What boy doesn't, all that ammo in there? And look at the size of the bullets on this gun. My God, I could shoot the seagulls over on the other side in Wales. And of course, you've got all the facilities on this little marina, including a harbour bar where please don't drink too much, because next door to it is the local gendarmerie or police establishment, right next to the pub. Now, as for tides, the Bristol Channel is strong. Just look at the strength of the tide going past the outside there. It's tucked in a little bit of a bay there, Watch It. Very, very coloured water, this part of the Bristol Channel, but is it a good fishing venue or what? And you can get out there in almost any weather conditions on Scooby-Doo 2. We were joined on this trip with Craig Butler and a couple of the local experts that Steve had inveigled into fishing with us. I don't know, they were specialist lugworm fishermen. They had some lugworms and they were adamant that fresh lugworm was going to do the job and try and see if we could find a very, very late season cod. Now, as we go outside into the outer harbour, again you just see that smooth bit of water there. Would you think we're going 20 miles? Are we going 30 miles out to sea? No, we're going to stop in a minute at about half a mile off the shore. In a boat this size, it's unheard of.
Well, we've got a bit of fish showing here.
Yeah.
The fish on the deck. This will be our first anchorage. We're, well, barely half a mile from the harbour.
Very, very close to shore, isn't it?
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever fished in a big boat that's close to shore.
I can, on a good day, I might stay here all day. It just depends. We're very lucky. We're blessed to have the fishing that we've got so close to harbour.
And this is a drop. Just tell us again what that...
Where the beach just steadily tapered out to about 8 metres below the height at the harbour entrance. And then there's the first drop-off. And we've just slid down the first drop-off, and this will be our anchorage. And it's a patch of reef. It's a great ground because it's snaggy enough to hold your grip leads, but they break away quite easily. We don't lose much tackle. Full of tube worm, and hopefully on a good day it's the mark that we get quite a lot of cod.
This will be a main cod mark for you in the middle of winter, yeah.
And you see, with prevailing winds, anything from the south-southwest, we're protected by the land here. I can be out here fishing these grounds when when all the other boats are stormbound on the other coast. So we're very lucky, and I appreciate it, and I think the anglers appreciate it.
A bit of comfort doesn't go amiss.
A bit of comfort doesn't go amiss. Yes, it's got to be, you know, if you're crashing about too much, well, it's no fun at all. Right, I'm going to drop out and put the pick down now.
Okay.
And hopefully we'll find one or two. Certainly the screen's looking busy.
You're right there, Steve.
Well, Steve, it's good to be aboard here on Scooby-Doo 2 and on, well, I'm going to call this the day of the year. This is so far the day of 2014, this one. It's flat calm. Where are you going to take us?
It's beautiful today. I think we're truly blessed. As you know yourself, this trip has been put off and put off to the adverse weather that we've had throughout the, well, this year, January and February. So here we are, we're in early March. The weather's finally settled down for us, and look at it. We're fishing very close to the harbour. We're within half a mile of the harbour. That is because I truly believe this is the best grounds for us to find some of these spring codling that are about at the moment in plentiful numbers. And I think it's worth us investing an hour or two here at the start of the trip, certainly until the maximum ebb pass is over, on the coral, and see if we can tease out one or two. They may not be big, but they should be prolific.
So we should get the right species, and we just basically, we should get some other fish as well, I guess, along the way.
Yeah, the Bristol Channel is very hard to target fish per se. One of the beauties of the Bristol Channel, particularly fishing in the dirty, murky water that we've got here, is you just don't know what's going to come up next. We get all sorts of species on these grounds. Yes, we're fishing the reefs. Yes, we're targeting the cod and the codling, but quite honestly, anything could show. We could get a conger, we could get various types of rays here, we could get a bullhuss. You just never know for sure. You never know for sure. Of course, March, we're on the changeover period, between you know, obviously the winter and summer species, and a day like today, glorious day like today, you just never know.
You got to be in it to win it, as I say. Now listen, watch it. I know from having done an article down there on you before. The information was on big cod, and I was very impressed with the number of size of big cod. And this is what this film's all about: is we're talking about the history of the cod. Just try and tell us. Give us a history and insight into the watch it cod, because you get some immense fish down there. You've had big fish over the years.
We've had some good times, yes, for sure. I wouldn't say the channel was particularly known for cod and big cod years and years ago. Now, there could be several reasons to that. One thing, I mean, you think about back in the 70s, it was the old broom handles and downtiders and big centre pin reels, and I think angling techniques, particularly since the 80s, since the mid 80s, and the uptiding, we're fishing much lighter now. I think angling expertise has improved greatly, and I generally think there's many more cod about, and for some reason the cod like to come into the channel. If we get a good run of sprats in the autumn, the cod will come in following the shoals of sprats in. That initially can cause us a problem, because our frozen baits or our dead baits don't look quite so interesting as a fresh juicy live sprat.
Sure, yeah.
But you know, the cod do follow those shoals in, and then round about Christmas time the sprat and herring shoals tend to disperse a little bit, and then there's one or two cod that start to get hungry, and we have some great times. Why off watch it, I don't know. We've got these shallow reefs. All the reefs are inhabited with the tube worm. It just seems to be almost the mecca for the cod, and I can sit as I am today, half mile from the shore, and I mean, on a good day I might do my full 8-hour trip without moving.
It does feel peculiar being this close to shore. It's almost 4 good casts from a long distance pendulum man and he'd be in with it, you know.
That is absolutely true. I mean, you take first impressions count, and so often I've taken out parties that historically have fished the south coast, and down there it's a mindset that the more you pay, the further you steam, the bigger and better fish you catch. And I'm sure that might be right in their area. I haven't got much experience of it, but up here that is total nonsense. On many days it's the least distance that you travel. In the winter months, summer months is different. Now
you get the cod here, particularly off watch it, say off the south coast of England, we would start to say it's going to die off sort of early January, you know, this November, December.
Yes.
But here you get what? I think you were telling me middle of February is normally switch on time, or used to be. This year's an exceptional year with the floodwater, but
yes, this year has certainly caused us some problems. So many trips cancelled, because of the poor weather. Awful lot of storm water about, fresh water. I mean, the media is full of the flooding on the Somerset levels. Well, all that water, it's bound to impact the fishing, and we haven't spent the days at sea this year that we normally do, and which is a shame. But generally speaking, an ordinary year, late September, early October, we start to see the first of the cod, and they tend to be double figures. Very often, my first fish boated of the winter is a double-figured cod.
Good fish then, yeah.
And I would say that they become quite prolific, fairly good numbers of fish, more or less up until the Christmas week. Christmas week is an excellent week for us between Christmas and New Year. We're very busy on trips if the weather allows, and the cod really start to build in size. Then ordinarily through January, middle of January to middle of February is, I would say, the time when we get the biggest ones. I've had a lovely run. I can't say I've had dozens, but I've had cod into the 30s each of the last 3 winters. I haven't this winter, don't tell any lies, I haven't this winter, but we haven't had the time out here and we haven't had the weather.
Got to put the time in as well. If the weather doesn't let you do that at the right time, then when you do get good weather like today, it's a throw of the dice, isn't it? We're getting towards what would be the end of your typical cod season, so we might be lucky or we might not.
We might not. As I spoke to you on the phone, it was I was concerned about. Oh, we've got to take there now.
Oh, well,
we've got to take now.
You take him then. You take him. I'll get you from here.
I'd better slip back.
There better not be a little codling.
I can squeeze through.
Yeah, you go through, Steve. So what sort of take was it? Because it was in the cabin. I heard the clicker. I recognised the ratchet.
It just went away, like, you know what I mean?
You sure you haven't got guys lying down there on Minehead Pier?
Yeah, there is a lot out. I noticed that.
I put a fair bit of line down there.
Yeah. Didn't you?
There's a guy struggling on the pier.
Yes, well, what John had done, he dropped a large bait fairly well back the tide, and we are at maximum ebb at the moment, so we were several hundred yards behind the boat, and as you heard yourself when we were filming in the cabin, the ratchet just screamed and went away. Job to tell what it is at the moment. It could be a thornback, possibly coming in backward. Highly likely a conger eel.
And most important thing is it's a fish.
It's a fish.
It's a fish.
So conger wise, because it's slightly broken ground, Steve, what would be average congers here? Sort of 8s to 12s or something?
Yes, I think that's fair. I mean, a 20-pound plus is an exceptional conger on these grounds, certainly at this time of year, but generally about the 10-pound mark would be commonplace. This is teasing us because this is staying down.
It's getting heavier now, and I'm just thinking, is it a ray diving, you know?
Yes, is it a ray coming in tail first? This is a bit of a tease. John, I'm just going to move that. In fact, if I can pass that one over to you, Craig.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Little kick then, wasn't it, on the top?
Kicking. I don't like to think...
I took your advice, Steve. You said, was it 800-pound mono, just in case?
Yeah.
Oh, he gave a kick then. It doesn't look a bad fish.
Big fish.
Flat sea, sunshine, cup of tea and fish on. What better? What better?
In the boat. That's what's better. Get him in the boat. That's nice.
Big fish, I'll tell you that, because this rod's not...
No, it's my shark rod.
Nick's had an inquiry now.
It's not the...
Just take it easy, isn't it?
This is a stage you think, I just want to see it. Oh dear, oh dear. My one was on congy. You always say that. I see it.
There again, it could be cod nodding.
No, don't say that. Don't say that. I'd say it'd be a cod. Well, you'd think he'd be kicking a bit more for conger though, wouldn't you?
If it's a big cod.
Oh, I reckon big cod, I'd say.
Right into the boat, you see the zip slider pop out the water and you still haven't seen the fish.
Well, we haven't seen it yet, but...
He stopped your bloody winding now, mate.
Yeah, he's just staying there.
He's hung down deep.
Could be a nice ray backward.
He's coming up a little bit.
Wrapped up by the tail and then just planing in the tide.
Yeah, got a lot of pressure on it, mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, your photo. He's a photo, isn't he? Yeah.
Oh, yes, that's a double. That's a double thornback.
Man killed by a piece of lead-filled gas pipe.
Yeah. It's pretty back. Hey?
I'll get a still of you with that as I can.
Okay. And one thing's for sure, I don't think that fish will ever be killed.
No.
Because there's so many thorns on it. I don't think anyone would ever have the patience to clean it. It's a good 10. Thick wings on it. You know, John, if you'd like to pinch him in there.
That's it. Yeah, he's a nice fish.
That's a nice chunk to start with, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, he's a beauty.
Now, as well as 30-pounders, Steve, I know you've had some real clonkers. What's the absolute biggest that you know's come around this area?
Well, the biggest that I've seen caught aboard one of my charter boats is 44 pounds, to be honest, some years ago. And the biggest one I ever saw, was two friends came out on a choppy old day. They were a bit concerned about safety, and they said, can we anchor just behind you just to keep together? And I said, sure. And they came in with a 48-pounder.
48?
So 48-pounder is the biggest one I ever saw landed at Watch It. Biggest one we ever had, 44.
Good guys, a monster fish, aren't they? Now, bait was coming into my mind there. We're trying to, you know, target cod here. Let's go out on the deck and just show us the average sort of rig that you use. Maybe one down tide rig, one up tide rig, and baits now you rig them. So we go outside.
Certainly, yes. Okay, Graham, well, we're talking tackle now. And clearly tackle is down to personal preference, and every angler and every skipper's got a different idea. For me, the Bristol Channel, keep it simple. Keep it simple. You can use a single or a pennel. I only use a pennel for bait presentation if I'm using a big bait. I think a single hook works fantastic in these shallow waters, and of course you've got a better chance of removing the hook and putting the fish back without causing it any harm. Now that's a single hook there, 6.0, and that hook, the Optide Viking, is my personal favourite. Another thing, I don't recommend over long traces. We have people turning up fishing several feet. For me, anything between 14 inches and 3 foot is ideal, because you've got instant contact. It's keeping the bait in contact with the lead, and it won't spin. Again, on the end of the snood, I always recommend a zip slider. Okay, many anglers turn up with the booms, the plastic straw that fits.
The long ones, yeah.
The long one, and I don't think this works in the Bristol Channel, because I think the tide spins it and wraps it all up, and I see the trace coming in all tangled up. So that's my favourite. I like to use a zip slider, then a bead, then a swivel, 60-pound mono as a minimum, 14 inches to 3 foot maximum, and a 6.0 Optide Viking is ideal. Then typically today we're fishing for the cod. We'll take a lovely juicy lugworm, thread it on the hook like so. You can put a second one on if you choose, but I think that worm's perfectly presentable as it is. Take ourselves a piece of squid. You can use a whole squid. Sometimes I stuff the worm up inside the squid.
Now, it doesn't matter. Sometimes on the south, you say like that dirty squid. It doesn't make any difference at all. Do you have a preference to anything?
I do like the dirty squid, I must say, but equally speaking, there are those anglers that just bring the calamari out, and it does seem to work almost as well. Little sliver of squid. So what I've done now, I've skinned that. Little tail of squid on the end. Now the squid is great because what it does, this is a leathery bait, and it helps to keep that worm on. And for me, that is a perfect bait.
So that should be ideal for cod.
That should be ideal for cod. That's the perfect bait. You could get a small fish, you could get a big fish there. And
so there's every chance of a 20-pounder would still take that, yeah?
A 20-pound fish would certainly take that. And this rig is ideal for both up-tiding and down-tiding.
Well, it's interesting. Steve had to talk about that bait there, so you've got to keep it basic. But here with us is Craig from the fishing tackle shop. Does a lot of match fishing, does a lot of shore fishing, and he's going to have a go, I think, for the small fish. Craig, is that right?
Yeah, just targeting the small codling. There's plenty of them, so you may as well try and catch one or two of them. Yeah, I've got a light 12-pound class rod, some braid on a small multiplier reel, and just a 3-hook rig, something I'd like to use on the shore for shore fishing, really. 3 at flapper, which is 2 up and 1 down. Just putting little bits of worm and squid on there, really.
What about your trace there, Craig? What's that?
Anything special? I see it's red as opposed to your snoods.
It's just the hook length I had about, which I used. Colour's no real issue really. It does help if it's the rig can spin up in the water.
And what sort of braids on that line? On the have you got on this?
I've just got a £30 braid on there. The rod I'm using is just a light 12-pound class rod. Nothing too overgunned really. Small multiplier Avec reel. Again, it's probably overgunned for the small fish, but it's what I've got, so it'll double up for it anyway. And loaded up with £30 braid. Again, it's overgunned for what I'm doing, but it doubles up for other things as well, should it happen.
Is that actually a beach reel or a boat reel, Craig? There's no level wind on it, or have you taken the level wind off?
It's a boat reel primarily. You could use it for shore fishing, but I stick to using it for boat. But it's got a lever drag on there, which gives you the ultimate control on the drag really.
And the rod here is what, 9 feet or something?
Yeah, I think it's a 9 foot 12-pound class braid.
Yeah.
Braid rod. So
it's plenty good enough for a big fish as well as catching small fish.
Yeah, no problem. Right, casting, watch your heads.
Yeah, this is John. I'm Nick. We've been coming here on Steve's boat for several years now. We've had some good results. This year not quite so good, a lot of small fish, but a couple of years ago, well, you just couldn't go wrong. It was all up round the double fish, up round the double, double.
So
pound.
good sized cod then, yeah?
Yeah, very good. Very good.
And what's your sort of red letter days? What have you done on cod? What's your real good days you remember, either size or numbers?
We had 123 in like 3 trips.
Bloody hell.
So it does spoil you a little bit for when things are not quite so good.
Yeah.
But you got to take the good with the bad, really.
And what about size? What sort of big? Have you had them over 20 pound?
Nothing massive. Massive, but loads of doubles.
Yeah. Yes.
So, teens, a lot of teens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the aim, really. But.
So target will be for you guys, because you're doing it so much. You'd be looking for, you'd like a 20, is it really?
20 would be lovely.
That's the ones to aim for.
Beautiful fish.
Now it looks like you got twin tackle there, as they say. But what do you, just run us through the gear that you would use for cod there?
I'm using a 9'6" Ziplex Sea Raider up tider.
Yeah.
With a Slosh X30 reel. F1 line 30 pounds straight through to the normal sliding ledger rig on that one.
And bait is again a squid or squid and lug.
Lug.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I like fresh lug.
Okie doke. Same one.
And I've got
slosh reel.
I'm using a Slosh 30. Nick's is a gold, which is a little bit better, but this is a Cornerflex Assassin. Quite a light rod, but will handle any fish.
Would that classify as an uptider?
Yeah. So yeah, definitely.
And what would that throw? Because I mean, I like Cornerflex blanks. So what would that throw? If you want to uptie 6-8 ounces?
9 ounce weight.
9 ounces, really?
Yeah, I'm using a 220 is grams at the moment. No problem at all.
No problem at all with them. Yeah.
No. So and also you can feel your fish with this class of rod.
Yeah. Same line on that.
Same. Exactly,
that F1?
Yeah, exactly the same. Yeah. I like using 30 straight through really. You can use whatever you like, but 30 is the best really.
Gotcha.
I think,
Well, fingers crossed we get some fish, guys.
Yeah.
Well done, Craig. And that is target species for today. Little tiny codling, just a few inches long, but never mind, his mummer might be on his tail.
And you get quite a few of those this year?
Oh, we can catch dozens, even hundreds. There's been so many of these little babies in the channel, and I must say they seem to be able to cope with the fresh water that's about this year. Okay, Graeme, well I spoke earlier that we're fishing the reef grounds close off Watch It, and the lads just a few moments ago dragged up a piece of our coral, and this is Sandstone Coral, dragged it up on the grip lead, and this is it, and it gives you a perfect example of the seabed. And as you can see there, these little tubes, these are all made by the tube worm that inhabit these reefs, and this is all sandstone, and you can break piece of this off, crumble it in your hands, and it goes back to sand.
So it's soft, I see. Yeah.
Yes, it's just sand. Yes, it's just sand. And as I said earlier at the start, it's a great area. You can see all the little tubes here, and this is a great area to fish because we got plenty of snaggy to grip the leads for the optide in, but equally a little bit of you know, force to break the lead away, and it just breaks away. And away we go. Now this reef, it's just full of these little tiny worms, and obviously this is the grounds that the cod come in to feed over, hopefully looking for their lunch. So there we are, a piece of watch it rot.
He's a little bit better.
That's a better size, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, he's bloody lovely, Nick.
So a bit of action on your rod there, Craig?
Yeah, just a nice thornback, a quite, you know, respectable thornback. Quite a common bycatch when you're codding, really.
And on the worm as well?
Yeah, it was on frozen black lug, tipped with squid. Probably the squid which did it, really, but you know, can't moan really. Just gets the heart pumping a bit when you think it could be a decent cod, but still a nice fish to catch anyway.
Come on, Nick.
God.
What is he?
And another.
I think it's enough from this side of the boat, actually. We're going to see a bit on the other side of the boat.
Brilliant.
Well done.
He's better again,
Yeah.
isn't he?
Lighter colour too, and it was a lighter colour one.
Yeah.
Nick?
Marginally heavier, Nick.
You think he's a little bit bigger? Yeah?
Marginally, yeah, a quarter of a pound bigger, but he's, look at the condition of it.
That's nice. That lighter colour's nice on it. Isn't it?
Should you hold it for a picture?
Yep.
Okay.
Slightly bit bigger, that one.
Okay. Nice one, Nick.
Yeah, that's
There
good.
we go, straight leg again.
This is just when everybody thinks they've left, isn't it?
Exactly is. I think, I know you're filming there, but I think the big key to talk about is the bait, really.
Yeah.
About the quality of the bait, isn't it?
Yeah. You think it's the lugs makes a difference, doesn't it?
It's
Yeah,
the
good
quality
bait.
of the bait. I mean, that man's travelled a long way just to get that bait.
To get the bait, it's paid off
Just,
though, isn't it?
you know what I mean? And the result is in the box.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you can come out and catch nothing.
Yeah, there's something on it. An eel, I think. An eel, actually.
You reckon it's a conger, yeah?
I think it's an eel.
You can't never tell, though.
He's staying deep, though.
Never tell. So,
I'd be pig sick if it's a cod.
you never know.
No, it'd be a eel.
It's-
Oh, it's
it's
another nice
escape.
ray, yeah.
Yeah.
There's that one. I got to get it out the net quick because Nick's got one on. Bit bigger.
Oh, it's a beauty, that, isn't it?
Yeah, a bit bigger.
And that is cod fishing watch it style.
That's it,
Well, one was on a half a mackerel, wasn't it, Craig, that one?
Yeah.
And what was your
The
one
whole
on?
squid.
A squid. So as soon as you go away from the lug and you get on the baits,
That's
change
right,
the
that's what
species.
Nice bait.
Oh, your journey home well.
I got
So you're back on the straight lug now, yeah?
Yeah, back on the lug. Looking for the next run of cod.
Lovely. There we go, guys. It's nearly getting dark. I put on the ultimate waste paper bin clear out job. I've squared a piece of old mackerel and regurgitated hermit crab. And there's something enormous on it, but I don't think it's a cod. I don't know what it is. The guys think it's a conger. I'll be satisfied to see it. I felt actually at one stage he was being eaten by another conger.
Yeah.
So no cod for me. Cod big time for the lugworm kings. They've kicked their butt, but you can see what a way to finish off a cod story with a conger. Am I complaining? No. As you know, it's nearly dark. Steve won't take us in. We're still fishing. That's what I call totally awesome fishing. Steve, if you could
I
please.
certainly will, Graeme. It's a pleasure.
That's what you call professional unhooking, folks.
And there's still time to catch a proper one.
Thank you very much.